Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Building Outdoor Communities virtual open house. We realize that not everyone's able to make the in-person open houses that have been occurring over the last couple of weeks. So this option is available for you to learn about the program and think about what needs to happen between now and September, and to really get excited about this opportunity that's come to Western North Carolina, thanks to our funders that I'll talk about in a minute. And I'm excited to share this with you. My name is Bradley Spiegel, the Building Outdoor Communities Program Specialist. So let's get into the details of the program. And I'm going to talk about the Made by Mountains partnership as a whole, so we can have a framing for how the Building Outdoor Communities piece fits into the partnership, the Made by Mountains partnership. So the WNC Made by Mountains partnership is working to expand the outdoor industry and economy across Western North Carolina and catalyze rural economic development by building vibrant outdoor communities, driving outdoor industry growth, and empowering regional storytelling. These are the three core pillars of the Made by Mountains partnership. And none of this work would really be possible if it wasn't for the incredible outdoor industry support that has been happening over the last decade in Western North Carolina. So that pillar, that first pillar, has really stimulated more grant funding to focus on the empowering regional storytelling piece and the building outdoor communities piece. So growing the outdoor industry is really thinking about providing coaching and capital, helping businesses to start, grow, and thrive. Outdoor entrepreneurs that are seeking to expand their business, that support is available, and we're really excited about that. Noah Wilson and the Director of Sector Development at Mountain BizWorks and the new Made by Mountains Partnership Director, Amy Allison, are really the core people behind that initiative of the Made by Mountains partnership. Then empowering regional storytelling, that's really thinking about telling the stories of the people, the businesses, and the communities that are allowing this region to be the outdoor industry capital of the East. Joanna Brown is the brand and communications manager, and she's going to be really leading efforts in the next couple of years to tell those stories. And then my piece is the Building Outdoor Communities piece, which we're going to focus our time on today. And that's thinking about the foundational infrastructure to connect people to nature and really catalyze economic development from these assets. We really know research has been shown across the country that that outdoor infrastructure has the power to catalyze economic development. It's really a place-based economic development strategy, and I'm really excited to share more information about that today. This work would not be possible without the funders, Appalachian Regional Commission, Dogwood Health Trust, and Mountain BizWorks. Mountain BizWorks is acting as the fiscal agent for this work, and all of us are actually employees of Mountain BizWorks. So we're really grateful that they care enough to invest in this program. This is an Appalachian Regional Commission power grant for rural economic development, in particular coal-impacted communities. So this is an opportunity really to think about how outdoor recreation and the industry as a whole can be a new pathway for communities that have been through a lot with economic shifts from the coal and then the pandemic. So this is hopefully a really cool, amazing opportunity for these communities to think about this from a holistic outdoor economic ecosystem approach, which I'm going to explain. So let's get into the Building Outdoor Communities program. Building Outdoor Communities is a regional community economic development initiative to support 25 Western North Carolina counties and the Qualla Boundary to advance their outdoor economy goals. The program is designed to build regional capacity, to provide baseline assessments of the infrastructure, policies, businesses, workforce and educational development support, tourism support, thinking about that holistic picture of what we need to be doing to drive economic development from an outdoor community infrastructure investment. The program is also designed to provide project development mentoring, technical assistance, trainings, workshops, and a core piece of this work is using data to drive future project investment. I'm going to explain all of those topics more in detail as we go into the mechanics of the program. But I would like to, from a national framing of the moment in time that we're all in right now, we've all been through the ringer in the last couple of years. We all know, I mean, all of our lives have been shifted. Outdoor recreation really saw an explosion during the pandemic and continued explosion. There has been an incredible increase in people, all types of people, diverse groups of people using outdoor infrastructure assets across the country. Outdoor recreation destinations exploded from a business development standpoint as well. And what another national trend is that companies are actually choosing to relocate to places that have assets in place because they want their employees to have a better quality of life. So this is an incredible moment in time that we're all in. And it's pretty amazing because it's really about nature. It's people are demanding better access to nature. Instead of it being about cars, the planning perspective is for people. So it's about people-centered design, pedestrian-oriented design, and placemaking, which I'm excited to talk to you about a little bit more. Another cool opportunity is that a lot of federal grants are ready to fund outdoor infrastructure assets, the implementation side, but they're not going to fund these projects unless communities have the support and the buy-in and to see that they've done the planning, the feasibility, the analysis to make sure that this is the investment that should be made. So one of our foundational goals of this place-based economic development strategy is to get communities investment ready so they can apply for grants to build the projects that they want to create their outdoor community assets. If we do this right, creating incredible places, it's one of my favorite planning topics, creating great places and thinking about the pedestrian piece, the people-centered infrastructure. It has the potential to connect all of these dots: quality of life, sense of place, public health. People are wanting opportunities to be healthy. And it doesn't have to be, for professional mountain bikers. It could be where we need to think about the whole spectrum of the entry-level outdoor infrastructure and the progression all the way to the professional mountain bikers or road bikers or paddlers, horseback riders, thinking about the interplay and the weaving together of all the infrastructure that's creating a pedestrian-friendly network, connecting people to the outdoors. And in Western North Carolina, we are so blessed with this incredible public land that we really have a responsibility going forward as this region has become more desirable. How are we going to proactively plan for future development in a sustainable way? What's really interesting about this concept is that if we design these assets correctly and beautifully, they can be resilient, meaning they can manage future flood risk. They can foster stewardship practices. We obviously cannot build every swath of land. So how can we prioritize what land needs to be conserved from a biodiversity standpoint? Because we need the biodiversity in order for human society to thrive. And then think about strategically, where can we build? Where is a safe place to build outdoor infrastructure to connect people to the outdoors? The equity piece is really the inclusivity, thinking about this is for everyone, any type of body, any type of person. We have the power to foster that collaboration across the region. If we do all of those things, then ideally they're coming to your place, to your community for the experience, for the place in and of itself, because it's connecting cultural heritage and art and education and stewardship. And ultimately, those people are going to spend money in the businesses on Main Street. So that is the economic development piece that we all have the power to be thinking about together as a region. As we dive into this program, one of my kind of favorite forethoughts here is, between 1900 and 2000, our society has done an incredible job of creating a network for cars. But going forward, between 2000 and 2100, it's really about people. How can we create pedestrian networks to really enhance quality of life for everyone? We're going to be thinking about that throughout this program. So this program is designed to support these 25 counties and the Qualla Boundary. We're going to accept an application at the county level from each one of these counties. If, for example, a county is not expressing interest, we're going to do targeted outreach to ensure that they have the opportunity to participate in this program. We want to make sure that this program reaches as many counties as possible, because this is really a rural economic development strategy. The program team behind this work is an incredible collaboration. I mentioned that our team is housed in Mountain BizWorks. Mountain BizWorks is the fiscal agent for this grant as well. Appalachian Regional Commission is a funder, but there are also Ann Bass and Kyle Case from the Western North Carolina region are actually helping strategize and think through the implementation tactics over the next couple of years, which we're so grateful for. We're also working with the Appalachian State's Center for Economic Research and Policy Analysis, West Virginia University's Outdoor Economic Development Collaborative, and all of the 6 councils of government of Western North Carolina. These groups of organizations here, along with more community stakeholders, are forming a Building Outdoor Communities advisory group that's helping to guide the planning and implementation of the program going forward. So we're going to dive into the mechanics of the program now, and we're going to think through, these are kind of the foundational pieces that we need to all be on the same page about as we go into the logistics of how this is going to unfold in the next couple of months, and then in the next couple of years to come. So in the program application details and instructions, we're asking that counties form a community working group of 5 or more people. And this is where we want to think about a cross sector of people that represent the outdoor economy. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to be thinking about the infrastructure, the policy, outdoor businesses, tourism, marketing, branding, workforce, and education development. We want to think about who are the right stakeholders that should be at the table. It could be a Parks and Rec person. It could be an outdoor business. It could be the TDA. So we actually have a list of potential stakeholders at the end of this presentation that I will share with you later. We're going to accept 1 community working group per county. That is where we're going to start. If there is a specific need for multiple community working groups, we will assess that on a case-by-case basis. Then each of those cohorts, each of those community working groups are going to form cohorts. We realize that some counties are much further along in their outdoor economic development. Some communities are really in the earlier stages. They may or may not have a working group in place, but they know they would like to kind of start creating a working group and get behind a unified vision. So no matter where you all are in that spectrum, this program is designed for everyone. And the program application is designed to group you into cohorts. So it'll be the initiation cohort, those communities in the earlier stages. The planning cohort was maybe they have some momentum, maybe there's a project or a plan in place. They may or may not have a working group. And then the acceleration cohort is they most likely have some projects built. They have an outdoor recreation economic development plan with many recommendations, and they're ready for data and ready for funding. So the vision here is that each of these cohorts will have, let's say, 4 to 6 community working groups from across Western North Carolina. So those working groups are going to be learning from one another, sharing best practices and lessons learned. And also the cohorts as a whole will also we're going to create specific networking opportunities for these 3 cohorts to share key takeaways, best practices, and lessons learned from the work that takes place. This is a cohort-based learning strategy. And Mountain BizWorks is actually known for doing this type of work for entrepreneurs at different levels of their business. All types of businesses, not just outdoors. They do actually have a specific outdoor businesses program called Waypoint, which is a really cool opportunity if you're in the outdoor industry and want to expand your business. But this concept, we're going to do this cohort-based model concept for communities. So it'll be a really fun journey over the next couple of years to learn from one another and to think about going back to the Made by Mountains ethos is what is the next level of the outdoor industry capital of the East? If Western North Carolina is going to really run with that brand, we want to be able to fairly invest and support the whole region with outdoor recreational infrastructure. So let's get into kind of the bigger picture here. This is a 2-year program that officially launches in about a month from today, September 19th and 20th in Boone. Again, 2-year program. It'll end in September of 2024. There's going to be optional trainings and workshops throughout this entire 2 years. The workshops and trainings will be quarterly. Then there's going to be in each of those cohorts that I mentioned before, the initiation, planning, and acceleration, there's going to have a 7-month cohort work period or assessment period where they're going to be guided by the Appalachian State team and the Made by Mountains team to create an outdoor economic impact toolkit. So App State's going to really help the community working group to analyze existing data that they already have, aggregate the data, and then think about disseminating the data. How do you tell a story about your community with data to drive future project investment? That's a key piece that these federal grants will want to see. They want to see that you've done this data analysis to show that this is going to be the return on investment of a trail that you want to build, or a greenway, or a blueway, or a wayfinding marketing strategy to connect your main street to the public asset, the public land assets. We're going to think through that in this program, and App State's going to create a specific schedule with deliverables, readings, homework, in order to help the community working group to strategically think through what data they want to tell their story. At the same time, our team, the Made by Mountains team, is going to be looking at that outdoor ecosystem as a whole and thinking about strategic gaps and strategic recommendations. So a gap analysis, strategic recommendations, and implementation next steps. So our goal would be to help support the community working group to identify what should they be doing right now to advance their outdoor economy goals. we realized that some communities have, 20 to 40 recommendations on next steps. Well, we would love to help advance 1 or 2 or 3 of those and actually create some momentum to get you to that next place. So the community working groups that participate in the capacity building portion of this program will be eligible for a matching grant program to support you all in advancing your next steps. Those grants will be for planning assistance, marketing, maybe fundraising strategy, feasibility, data analysis, maybe telling a story with a story map, with a GIS story map, whatever you need to take your outdoor economy goals and priorities to the next level, to get you investment ready. That's really what the funding is for, to get your projects investment ready, so then you can get the money to build the projects. So I've went over these are the key outcomes of the Building Outdoor Communities program. The one thing that we're really excited about here with that cohort-based learning, we're excited about all of these pieces, but the cohort knowledge sharing is really going to be opportunities for the whole region to grow together. So we're going to create specific events for all of the cohorts to share best practices and lessons learned together. The communities that are, no matter where they are in their stage of outdoor economic development, some of them are more advanced. The ones that need a little bit more assistance in kind of creating the group, the vision, our team will be working with them from a mentoring standpoint to get their group formed, to get goals set, priorities set, and thinking about advancing momentum to get to a place where they're ready to implement some of their strategies. So here is the 7-month cohort work period timeline. The acceleration cohort actually launches on September 20th at the launch event in Boone next month. Then the planning cohort would begin in March, we'll say the spring of 2023, and then the initiation cohort will begin in September 2023. This is specifically for the 7-month cohort work period, where they'll be working with the App State team for the economic impact data analysis and our team for the gap analysis and recommendations. In between these 7 months, each of these 7-month cohort work periods is when the trainings and workshops will be available quarterly. So there'll be opportunities throughout the next 2 years for all of these cohorts to be learning information. And we're going to curate these trainings based on the issues that arise from the program applications. We think that if one community working group is having these issues, I'm sure that there's going to be others in the region that also would like to know from this knowledge. So we will work with subject matter experts to come in and do a webinar series of these specific topics. So now we're going to be summarizing some of the key things that I've already said, just to kind of get everybody on the same page. It's a lot of information. And I encourage you, after you listen to this presentation, there is a document on our website, the Made by Mountains / Building Outdoor Communities page, that says program details and FAQ. Everything that I'm saying right now is reflected in that document. So it's a great resource to go back if you have additional questions. So let's start off with the 7-month cohort work period. During the work period, we're going to ask that the community working groups participate in 3 meetings. One in the beginning, like the first month of the 7, then a midpoint check-in, and then a wrap-up meeting in the 7th month. We are also asking that group meets monthly to keep the program goals and to keep the program momentum and goals moving forward. The additional trainings and workshops, events that will happen throughout the course of the 2 years are optional, but we'll encourage, we'll promote them, and we'll encourage, that will be the networking. And we would encourage everyone to attend if they want to meet their fellow peers doing this work, so they can learn case studies too of best practices occurring in other parts of the region. So these 2-year program events, then, I will reiterate that the launch event is September 19th and 20th in Boone. And we are asking that at least 3 people from the community working group attend that training and workshop. That would be, if we could get 1 person from each county, that would be great. But if there's 3 people, think about, 3 people hearing different things, coming back to the larger outdoor economy working group and sharing what needs to happen over the course of 2 years and over the course of the 7-month work period. I mentioned the trainings and workshops will happen quarterly. The cohort networking events will happen upon the completion of each cohort. Then there's a really cool opportunity for September 2023 and 2024. The Outdoor Economy Conference will occur again. Some of you may have gone to some of the ones in the past, and we've learned some incredible stories of these organic conversations happening at the Outdoor Economy Conference that really sparked this work in Western North Carolina. So you never know who you're going to meet, but this will be an opportunity for select community working groups to be elevated in a panel or in a specific workshop where you are sharing your lessons learned throughout the program with a national audience. So think about that. If that's something that you'd be interested in doing, that could be a really cool opportunity to raise the bar and showcase to other places in the country that are also doing this work how Western North Carolina has come together as a collaboration and partners in the effort to expand the outdoor industry and economy as a whole. So, reiterating some important dates here and the upcoming program milestones. A press release went out on July 12th, which officially opened the application. And then the application is due August 26th. That's this upcoming Friday. We realize that may be challenging for some people, and we are not going to hold it against you if you can't make that date. We are asking if you can make that date, that would be incredible. The application is really designed to create a baseline assessment, as I mentioned earlier, so we can figure out which groups will be in which cohort. If there are communities that need additional support in forming their working group and even with the application, we will offer that support at the launch event and workshop on September 19th and 20th. If for the people and groups that do submit a application, you will all find out your cohort placement prior to the event. I want to add, there's one common question that's kind of come up multiple times as we've been going out into the public and discussing this program. And the question is, what happens if there are multiple working groups that apply for the program within the same county? If that is happening, we're going to ask that those working groups start talking amongst themselves and submit one application for the county. We're going to start off with allowing one county community working group for the 25 Western North Carolina counties and the Qualla Boundary. If there is a need for multi-jurisdictional community working groups or for multiple community working groups within a county, we'll assess that on a case-by-case basis, but we want to make sure that everyone has a fair chance. Each county has a fair chance of participating in this program if they want to. We're not going to force anyone to do it. We can only work with the willing, but we're going to do the best we can to make sure that everyone knows about this opportunity so they can benefit locally at the county level and then ultimately at the regional level. The only other piece here that we haven't discussed, I mentioned that the acceleration cohort begins on September 20th, and the community working groups in that cohort will be notified in early September of what they need to do to prepare for their assessment, their deep dive 7-month assessment to start on September 20th. So we have 4 hotels blocked with room blocks in Boone for the night of September 19th. And there are some really good rates. I think they range from $99 to $130. Those rates will expire on September 5th. So be sure to get your rooms early, because I want everyone to take advantage of the discounts. So here's a little plug for the launch event and workshop, September 19th and 20th in Boone. Day 1 is going to be a half day, 1 to 4, and it will be all of the introductory material from the Made by Mountains team, from Andy Williamson, who a lot of you know. He's now at West Virginia University, and he's going to be giving us a presentation on the outdoor economic ecosystem and how the Made by Mountains team is going to be assessing the whole approach, from the systems approach, I should say, that will ultimately unveil gaps, recommendations, implementation, next steps. And then the Appalachian State team will be going way more into detail about the schedule for the 7 months that the community working groups will work with them. So what I'm really excited about for the afternoon of the 19th, there's going to be 3 options for site visits, and each person can choose which one they want to go on. Suga Outdoor Gear Store and Production Facility, the Middle Fork Greenway, which is connecting Boone and Blowing Rock, which is in the middle of implementation, and Rocky Knob Mountain Bike Park. So we'll have 3 site visits that you all can choose. And then we'll have a social networking event at Boonshine Brewery for us all to come back together and, talk about the tours, talk about what we learned on day 1, and get excited for day 2. Thanks to Destination by Design, they are sponsoring the food at Boonshine. So that'll be a really fun event with drinks and food. Then day 2 of September 20th, there's going to be food from Stick Boy Bread Company, which breakfast and lunch are sponsored by Equinox and Alta. So we're really grateful for that. Day 2 will be solely focused on each individual cohort, and again, that could be 4 to 6 community working groups in each of the cohorts coming together in breakout sessions. Acceleration cohort will begin their 7-month deep dive, and the planning and initiation cohorts will have a lead facilitator guiding them on next steps and what to be thinking about, what to be prioritizing, maybe thinking about visioning, thinking about who else should be at the table that's not here today, forming the working group. So everyone will have targeted outreach and support on the 20th. Here is where we're at with our open house schedule. We have 1 more week to go. It's been so fun to meet everyone in person and put names to faces and start to really just to listen to what your issues are and what you're excited about. And it's helping our team. Between Amy, Joanna, Noah, and myself, we are all problem solvers. And it's going to be really fun to think about creative, solution-oriented strategies to advance and support all of your outdoor economy goals to the best of our ability. So here's some key questions to consider kind of in the next couple of weeks and leading up to the launch event. The working group does not have to be perfect for the application. As long as we can have something in the application that expresses your interest and gives us some sort of a baseline assessment of where you all are at in your outdoor economic development, that would be most helpful. If the community working group is still coming together in the next month and forming by September, that's wonderful. That's totally fine. We're not going to turn anyone away that's not the intention is not to turn anyone away. The intention is for our team to work with y'all and adapt and figure out what is the starting point for each of your working groups, and then let's then come together and collaborate. But we would appreciate if people could fill out the application by August 26th, because that will really determine which groups are going to be in which cohort for the program. So that you should be thinking about that, and then thinking about who are good candidates for the county level community working group. Who do you think in your community is already doing this work, is a regional champion in this work, or just a local champion? Who's someone, you want people that are really excited about this work. So that's really important. Like ultimately we can't do the work for you. So you need to form a group that will have the volition to meet regularly and to advance this work. And that's what's been happening in other parts of Western North Carolina. And I'm excited for everyone to learn case studies about what's already happened from the communities that are a little further along in this process. So be thinking about these. Here are some key stakeholder groups that could be really good to be on your community working group. This is not prescriptive. It's really just to get your brain turning, and this list is not exhaustive either. If there's additional people that you think should be on it, great. Again, we think to optimize the information that's going to come at that September 19th and 20th workshop, it would be really good to have at least 3 people attend. Again, if that's not possible, that's okay. But I think the more people that can hear, the better it will be when you go back into your community working group and you're doing the program deliverables throughout the program. So that is the presentation for you all. And again, I'm so grateful to be in this role and to learn about what you all are interested in trying to move forward. And I hope that we can work together and advance these outdoor economy goals. This is really an opportunity for the region as a whole to create thriving outdoor communities. So be thinking about this is what I like to think about with this work is, what is this region going to look like in the next 25 years? That's 2047. So by 2050, how can we all be proactively planning together as Western North Carolina communities today to think about laying that foundational infrastructure to connect people to nature and stimulate outdoor economic development through our incredible places, creating more businesses, creating more jobs. So people growing up, the generation growing up, will want to stay in North Carolina and create their own businesses and work, and helping to attract new businesses to the region and helping to keep existing businesses here. So let's think about, how grateful we all are to be surrounded by all this public land. And let's try to work with this land to not only think about strategically about what should be conserved, but how do we balance conservation with community development going forward? If you need any more information about anything that's been said today, you can go to madebymountains.com/building outdoor communities. The registration button for the launch event is there. All of the materials that we've discussed are going to be posted on the website, and the application is also on the website. Feel free to email me with questions, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.